Hello and welcome to The Perspective. I am Deji Owotumi. On this episode, we examine opposition politics in the build-up to the 2027 elections and the issues shaping the national conversation. As Nigeria moves towards another election cycle, several important questions are beginning to emerge. Are Nigerians experiencing the change they hoped for? Does the opposition present a credible alternative? And what choices will voters ultimately face in 2027? We may not have all the answers yet, but first, what are the issues? One question continues to follow Nigeria's opposition ahead of 2027. Can the parties challenging the APC come together in time to present a united front? The figures from the 2023 election tell a striking story. The APC polled about 8.8 million votes, but the PDP, Labour Party and NNPP combined secured over 15 million votes. Divided, they lost. Together, they could have won. It is this calculation that continues to shape talk of opposition unity ahead of 2027. Since then, the political landscape has remained in motion. Once dominant parties have been weakened by internal battles, defections, and rival ambitions, opening space for new alignment and coalition talks. But those efforts have not held steady. The ADC, once seen as a possible rallying point for opposition forces, has come under internal strain. Key figures like Peter Obi and Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso have aligned with the Nigerian Democratic Congress (NDC). At the same time, legal battles have added another layer of uncertainty. Both the NDC and the ADC have found themselves navigating disputes that could shape their path to 2027. The People's Redemption Party (PRP) has also entered the conversation, presenting itself as an alternative voice rooted in the political legacy of Aminu Kano. Looking at the political landscape through different perspectives, three distinct narratives are beginning to take shape. A new government seeking another mandate on the strength of incumbency, an opposition searching for common ground, and a wider political field where emerging parties, competing ambitions, and new alliances are creating alternative paths to power. Which of these perspectives will resonate most with Nigerians remains to be seen. I recently sat down with the national chairman of the People's Redemption Party (PRP), Dr. Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, to discuss the state of opposition politics ahead of the 2027 elections, the search for credible alternatives, and whether Nigerians should still believe politics can deliver meaningful change. To begin, I asked him what sets the PRP apart and why he believes the party should be considered a viable alternative as the country looks toward 2027.
Well, we started as an ideological party. The PRP historically has been the only party that was founded on a very clear ideology: service to the poor, the oppressed, and the weak. And that's why we've always been associated with those who have grievances against power, who are poor, who are defenseless, and perhaps also explains the reason why we haven't formed governments as the country progressively got worse under a different set of leadership than the PRP would have wanted. Politicians who wanted power for themselves, politicians who stole these resources that should have gone into education for young people, to health, into infrastructure. So where we stand is where we believe Nigerians have learned enough lessons from trusting people who just want power for themselves, rather than use it for the country.
I mean, service to the oppressed and the downtrodden, that resonates with Nigerians at this point, in light of the many challenges we're buffeted by. Your party has presented Donald Duke as its 2027 presidential candidate. Why should Nigerians believe is a viable alternative?
Well, first, let them look at pedigree. This is a Nigerian who served as a governor, 1999 to 2007. And since then, I haven't had a single whimper of anything done that he did wrong. Didn't steal anybody's money. He was a model politician who served and walked away and pursued other interests. He did excellent. He left an excellent record in Cross River State. It's still standing there. It's been messed up by leaders who are less competent and less intelligent than he was, and committed. And he's one of the very few politicians today that could go to any part of this country and feel at home. We are very proud of the fact that he came to our party, and our members on their own decided that he represents the best face for the future. He's committed to Nigeria. He understands our problems. He's ready to commit everything that he has to our country. There's not one drop of selfishness. He doesn't want to steal people's money. This is the kind of politician we're looking for. He doesn't want to be known for a president who just wants power. That's the kind of politician we're looking for. And he wants to serve. That's very rare these days.
There are those who say he's been out of frontline national politics for some time. Why this movement?
I think everything has its time. There are huge numbers of politicians who have stayed away, and good Nigerians, which is a tragedy. This is why you see these cowboys masquerading as leaders and politicians, literally stealing this country and putting it in their pockets. Good people have stayed away for too long. What we desperately need in this country is people like Donald Duke and other politicians and other people who are not even politicians to come out and say, hey, enough is enough. It's enough. This country deserves better. And the only way you get rid of bad people is if good people come in and make a difference. It's a struggle. Nobody's going to fix this country unless Nigerians get sick and tired enough of what is going on. The insecurity, the poverty, the drift, the hatred that we have for each other. We are encouraged to hate each other. Somebody somewhere has to stand up. And this is the time for people like Donald Duke to stand up. And we are happy. When he stood up, he didn't go to APC, thank God, where he would have been corrupted. He didn't go to ADC, where he would have had to contest for even a breath for the fresh air. He came to us.
There is, in some sense, a crowded opposition at this point. What is the strategic relevance of PRP in the build-up to 2027 elections?
We believe we represent a different face. It doesn't matter what the crowd is, we will stand out. PRP is the only party that has a clear ideology. Nobody else. All the others are just saying, give us power, give us power. We don't just say give us power. We say give us power because we know why this country is so insecure and we can fix it. We know why there's so much poverty and we can solve it. We know why our children don't go to good schools. They beg on the streets, or they get stolen, or they get kidnapped, or they get into drugs. And we can fix that problem as well. We have ideas, we know where the problems are, and we can fix it. Others just want power.
Can you share some of these ideas with us? You say know why. Can you give us an insight into why?
Take insecurity. 10, 15 years ago, this country was safe and secure. Our leaders dropped the ball. This is the same military that we had 15 years ago, the same intelligence community. How is it possible that now every inch of Nigeria is covered in blood and screams of people? Foreigners didn't do this. Our people stole the money meant for protecting and defending Nigerians. That's the only way you can understand this. And it will take Nigerians to get the country back on its feet. We know what's going on. We know why it's going on. And we know how it can be fixed. We know, look, President Tinubu on the very first day at his inauguration, made the most profound economic statement about the most profound statement about the economy. He said he removed subsidy without thinking through the consequences of this. Within the first few weeks of his presidency, the man destroyed ECOWAS. Good governance doesn't drop from the heavens. It requires people who understand what it is. No, and it doesn't necessarily go with your personal ambition. Just because you say it's Emilio, it's my turn. That is the very reason why people should run away from you. Your turn to do what? To govern a country of 250 million people is your turn? That's what qualifies you, your ambition? Our party doesn't put the leader before the people. It's the people who come first. We have a problem and we're looking for someone who will solve it. We're not going to take our country and our people's destiny and say to the richest man or the man who says, no, it has to be me now. To do what? And this is the price we're paying. The price we're paying is you get Buhari left a very, very awful record. And President Tinubu came out and made it a lot worse. And Nigerians should learn a lesson from this. This is the time to make a U-turn. Don't give these guys another chance to make this country worse. And PRP represents the alternative. We don't want people's money. We will not steal, and we will make a pledge to Nigerians. If you trust us, we can fix this problem.
Some critics argue that your party is adding to the fragmentation on the opposition. They think a united opposition is what we need, in some sense, to displace the current government. What do you say to this?
It doesn't have to be one party. The one party doesn't have to represent the opposition. There are 22 parties in this country. One party insists it has to come back and destroy this country even more, the APC. And it's showing it. Look at the crisis within its own party. It cannot even manage an internal democratic process. Its members are crying like to the high heavens. It cannot even run itself. Opposition is good. It's an intrinsic element in the democratic process. Fragmentation of the opposition doesn't mean that a leadership cannot be defeated. We can defeat President Tinubu. So maybe there will be, and almost certainly, there has to be some kind of synergy and some
right, because I was going to say the coalition that defeated the then Jonathan administration against the run of play was a coalition of other parties who, works together. We don't have any such at this point.
Well, we have some way to go. You will see. I have a feeling that we are talking to some parties and they're talking to us. There will be some type of alliance. We expect that. It's going to take quite a fight to remove President Tinubu from power. It can be done and it must be done. But he's got unbelievable amounts of money, APC. They've got 32 governors in their corner. Virtually the whole of the judiciary, maybe even INEC are in their pockets. We don't know just how. What we do know is that they are desperate to come back, and Nigerians are desperate that they should not come back.
So you say the PRP's position is not a hardline position to say we're not going to, talk to other opposition parties.
No. Anybody who is interested, one, in getting rid of APC, two, in installing in its place good governance, accountability, competence in governance, we will talk with them. We will do whatever is legally available, allowable to do this.
There are speculations that some opposition heavyweights, in some sense, are planning to defect to your party. Can you clarify if this is accurate at this time?
I don't know, and actually, I should be in a position to do that. And I'm telling you the truth. I've heard of the same rumors. People say, this so-so person is coming. They haven't knocked on my door. They did before. We sat down with them, we spoke with them, we discovered that we couldn't go beyond talking, and they moved on. We wish them the best of luck. If circumstances make it necessary for us and them to find a way to collaborate for the good of the country, we'll do so. But I don't know about coming back into PRP. PRP does operate on principles. If you don't fit into our principles, it's very difficult for us to open the door for you.
There's this thinking that if the PRP doesn't then play ball with other opposition parties, as it were, it's a strategic suicide, as it were. But if it decides to, play ball, as it were, again, then the question of principle might come up.
Yeah, but principles are not immutable things. We are not puritanical.
Mm.
We are not going to say everybody must be like PRP or we can't go further. We realize in politics is a game of give and take. What we will not compromise is our basic goal. Our basic goal is that we will fight a government that is centered around the ambitions of leaders. We'll fight a government that is insensitive and incompetent. We will remove that government, and we will do so on the basis of collaboration and cooperation with other political parties and other people.
There are those who raise concerns as regards, the ideology of the opposition, as it were, saying that they are just more united in their need to oust the current government, so to speak, rather than in their ideology and their plans to emancipate Nigerians. There are those that are very skeptical about the possibility of the opposition taking over and delivering the dividends of democracy. What do you say?
I'm not surprised. Nigerians are very cynical, and they are cynical with good reason. Since 1999, the quality of governance in this country has declined and declined and declined to a point where a lot of people think, it's all about power, it's all about them. So I can understand that, but that is also a very dangerous thing. You have to believe that there can be a change. And the reason why we think politics is bad, everybody is the same, is precisely what the current leadership wants. We and the opposition are not different. We're all the same. They want power, we want power. We are not. We are not the same as these people. There is a difference, and we can make that difference. We will fix the security of this country. We will fix the security of this country. In the first 1 year, we will fix them. We know why we are so insecure. We know why we are so vulnerable. We know why they are stealing children in school. We know why.
It's such a bold statement to make.
It is. And we will not make it unless we're sure of what we're talking about. Within 1 year, we can fix the security.
I mean, we've referred to the insecurity challenge as a hydra-headed problem. It's not just a one-size-fits-all.
It doesn't matter how many heads it has. There is a reason why it keeps growing and growing and growing. And the first one of those reasons is a leadership that is completely indifferent and inept and corrupt. And if you provide the opposite of that leadership, you can plug the leaks in terms of funding for security, money meant for military, money meant for intelligence cycles, money meant for securing citizens goes into private pockets. Leaders who don't give a damn. Their content will just dish out statements of sympathy. Children get stolen in school. What do? Nothing. It's Nigerians who are doing this. And it's Nigerians who have to find the solution to this. So it's not impossible. What is dangerous, even more dangerous than the situation we live in now, is for Nigerians to think, everybody in politics is just looking for power. I don't want power. If it only means I would be, people would say excellency or whatever. I don't want that kind of power. I want the power that I can use to say the child who is sleeping on the street, or who's been abandoned, or who's been kidnapped, is back home and will sleep with a full stomach.
So let's stay on insecurity for a while. You've been quoted as saying no Nigerian is safe anywhere, just pretty much painting the picture of insecurity that we have at this point. But there are those who say the insecurity that we have now is a result of accumulated mishandling of the problem from successive administrations, and not just this administration. It doesn't matter what administration is on at this point, they'll be dealing with the same problem. What do you say?
Yeah, up to a point they're right. In Jonathan's time, when this problem began to rear its head, incompetence and failure to understand how that problems become bigger when you don't deal with them when they're small was basically what the issue was. Incompetence, failure to understand the nature of the issue. Because between 2009 and 2011, President Johnson's administration could have put an end to Boko Haram with intelligence and understanding. And all the evidence on the ground was there. I was part of that government. I was part of the process that engaged Boko Haram in the beginning. We could have put an end to Boko Haram. Leadership failure made it worse. Then Buhari comes. We told the country, vote for Buhari, tough guy, he will put an end to this. Our Boko Haram will run away as soon as they hear it's Buhari. Buhari becomes president, and then lo and behold, what we find? He's just another man who just wants power to be president. 8 years. In those 8 years, Boko Haram had metamorphosed into Boko Haram and ISWAP, and then suddenly now it is now mutating. This problem is mutating and mutating. It used to be a northeast problem, then it became a northwest problem. Now it becomes a Nigerian problem. Leader after leader after leader just simply tolerates or thinks this is not a very serious problem because they are safe. Their families are safe. But Nigerians are not. And that's why I'm saying that if we've lived with it for so long, it's not a solution. Saying nobody can fix this problem is dangerous. Because we can fix this problem. We have to fix it. What do you do with a country of 250 million people running away from crime, running away from murderers? We have to put an end to this. This is the largest concentration of Africans. 250 million people. This country can just fail without consequences.
What are your thoughts on state police? The calls for state police are getting louder at this point.
We think that this issue requires a lot of thinking. First, understand why it has become necessary to ask for state police. Is it that the Nigerian police has failed so woefully that you have to create an alternative? Or do you create supplementary police units under them? Two, you have to look at the context. If you create state police, are you going to give these kind of governors control over police? These kind of governors? The ones, 32 of them in the APC government? If they manage the state police the way they manage our financial resources, we will be in no trouble. All you've created is another armed set of people that the governors can now use politically. That is why it's important to look at this matter as a leadership problem.
But the argument against the point you just raised is that we can put guardrails in place. Don't you think that?
Who would do that? It will be the same people. President Tinubu has this National Assembly in his pocket all the way. 98% of them owe their allegiance to him. If he coughs in the morning and says, this is what I want, by evening they will deliver it. Are you going to look up to the National Assembly to create state police? National Assembly that does the beckoning of President Tinubu? Whose interest is state police going to protect? What is wrong with the Nigerian police? What killed it? Where is the same people who want to create state police now are the same people who abandoned the Nigerian police? Why? What happened to the Nigerian police? It used to be one of the finest police in Africa, maybe in the world. Don't we ask that question? And what gives you the idea that just because they are state police, they will work better? Why? So there are fundamental issues to be dealt with. If you don't fix the leadership problem in this country, there's nothing you can change for the better. It's the leaders, the people, the kind of people who do the thinking and who decide how to live, how to die, are the same people who are asking us to give them another 4 years to come back. We shouldn't.
You once said President Tinubu is not in touch with this country. And there are arguments that any politician who gets into Aso Rock at this point would get lost in the Aso Rock bubble. What can be done in this regard? As a former insider, if you will, having served in this administration, what do you think the problem is?
To be honest with you, I don't think every Nigerian has been in the villa. I think the wrong Nigerians have been in the villa. Obasanjo was there for 7 years. Let's start from 1999. President Obasanjo was the product of elite consensus, politicians who had pushed the military with their backs to the wall, decided we have to get a civilian president. Washed up President Obasanjo, dusted him, dressed him up, and said, Nigerians, here is your new president. President Obasanjo, in spite of everything else, I think he did pretty well. Then he leaves. Then makes one mistake. He is going to recreate himself since he couldn't do a third term. he had to recreate himself in power. And he now recreated himself in the guise of the Yar'Adua Jonathan administration. Yar'Adua lived for 2 years, most of the time ill. He died after 2 years. Jonathan took over. Jonathan was not, I think, was the least prepared president to govern this country, and he proved it. For the 6 years he governed this country, you saw the height of incompetence, you saw the height of indecision, you saw weaknesses at the levels of government. Who will take over from Jonathan? Unfortunately, a man who everybody thought will now solve all these problems. He's tough, he's incorruptible, he's a former general, Buhari. He comes in, spends 8 years just simply enjoying being president, did nothing about the economy, about the security of this country. So the wrong people have been in the villa for all these years. And they've been there only because they had money, or there was money to support them to be there. Or there was political ambition. That's all.
So there's no such thing as the Abuja bubble, as it were, the Aso Rock bubble, where
what's the bubble?
Or surrounding them, not telling them the truth and being sycophants, just pretty much.
You can judge a leader by the people around him. You can judge a leader by the people around him. It's not the other way around. It's not the other way around. Bad leaders prefer to be surrounded by bad people. They know. It's not as if they are so stupid that they get caught up in the bubble of bad advisors. They pick these advisors. They decide who advises them. They know when they are misled. People say, "Oh, he's surrounded by bad people." No, he's a bad person who's content to live with bad advice. That's basically, put a good person, and he would fire people who have failed to do their jobs. He would fire people who are lying to him. He would fire people who are incompetent, who are stealing. And more than anything else, he would not do what he would not want others to do.
On a final note, what's your message to Nigerians that are losing hope in elections and the possibility of government to change their lives and deliver the dividends of democracy, this so-called cynical group? What's your message to that?
First of all, we shouldn't even contemplate an option to the democratic process. That's very dangerous, because the options are more frightening. And within the democratic process, the beauty of it is that you have a chance to actually make a difference. And this is why Nigerians should come out and vote in 2027. Be very careful about who they vote for. They should avoid the temptation to vote for people who put a little bit of money in their pockets, or make them false promises, or play the ethnic card or religious card and say, it's we. It's not you, sir. It's the man who's going to become the governor or the president. You will just be the same person, only worse. So I think Nigerians should vote. This time, come out in even larger numbers and vote. When you vote, please police the process. Don't allow INEC to rig this election to the limit of their ability. Don't allow INEC to rig this election. If INEC rigs the 2027 elections, this country will go up in flames. I hope it doesn't. I'm praying it doesn't. And I hope INEC doesn't even contemplate rigging this election for this administration, because the country will pay a huge price for this. Vote for quality people, the kind of people who will protect you, build schools for your children, build roads, let you live in peace, away from bandits and kidnappers. And they exist. Give them a chance. Don't let these people continue treating us the way they're treating.
Thank you very much, Dr. Baba-Ahmed, for your time.
Thank you very much.
And your insights.
Thank you.
That's the perspective for this week. Join us again next time for a fresh edition. Bye for now.